This is Gnome Hollow. We've been really excited and waiting to talk about this for quite some time. This is the Ops game. It is a hobby game. It is one of their most proudest releases of the year. It's actually right now at Gen Con being demoed when we're filming this right now. They just sent us this at the exact same time that it's releasing, so we can kind of show this off to you guys. Gen Con just wrapped when we're putting this up, so sorry that you might have seen this actually at Gen Con already, but this is a really cool game. Let's open this up. Let's talk about how to play it, what comes inside, and the extra little bonus pack they created that can give you a little extra value to your set. Right off the bat, it is a very high quality box. It's got art from Amon Anderson and Patrick Spisanti. Oh, that is a heavy box. They've got an ad in here for other games like Express, Perfect Wave, Stalk Exchange, Art Project Aqua. A lot of these games are really amazing and fun games as well to check out. This is a field guide to Gnome Hollow. Nice, really thick manual there. You've got your player boards here to indicate your growth and progression in the game. We'll keep Holly and Poppy for me for now. You've got a product bag to keep things in. A couple really cool Ziploc bags for organization. And wow, they've got a really nice printed case with things in here like Gnome Hollow and indications of what goes where, which is just really cool. And they've got all of these boards. Wow. So many things to pop out. And then we get our tokens. Got turn sequence cards, bunch of plants, another guide. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually punch out all these tokens and place them where they need to be inside the bin, and we'll be right back so you have to see us do all that. All right, so I've set up the board as best I can with limited space. You can see the flowers don't normally go here. They actually go into the pinball market. I just want to show them real quick. You stack up 3 flowers on the flower tiles. That's 1 flower for every player that in the game. The reason being is you're going to collect those on your turn. So we'll just move that over here next to the pinball market. The pinball market is a place in which you can sell mushrooms you've collected to gain victory points in the form of treasures. And then you have rings that you form with the tiles that are up here that you can select. Tiles are replenished onto that board from the bag, but those are basically pulled at random. On your board, you have a collection of options, a way to store things. You can collect flowers by putting them in the top row. You can complete circles and then choose your prizes based upon the circles. And you can also collect treasures. So those 3 ways are the ways to gain victory points. As you play and create circles, you will, by the number of tiles you created to make the circle, you will put your tokens in those spaces. And then moving forward, you'll get options. After you get 5, 6, and 7s, they'll give you benefits. For instance, a 5, you can choose the signpost, take an extra tile into your collection, take a flower at random, mushrooms and flowers, make extra movements of tiles. The benefits start stacking. It's very beneficial. So just to go through what a normal gameplay would look like, on my turn, I can place 2 garden tiles and additional 2 that I have stored if I have any stored. So I'm going to want to place a tile. So for instance, that's 1 tile there. And then I can place a 2nd tile there. Now, what this is currently, this is a tile made up of at least 3 spaces. Now, anything that is not claimed on the board by a gnome is open to be claimed by any other gnome on their turn. So once you've placed those, you can resolve any rings you've collected if you have any, gather any mushrooms that need to be gathered, and then just resolve that issue if there is any issue. And then you go to your gnome placing, which you can take 4 actions. You can reserve a path, which is placing a gnome on here. You can move to the flower market and select a flower. You can access a signpost that's already in play, or you can sell mushrooms at the pinwheel market. Once you've kind of done it, I'm going to claim that path there with this player, just so that they're there in that location. You can have 2 gnomes out on the board doing things at a time. You can have 2 paths claimed, the benefits of a signpost with a path claimed, so on and so forth. No one can play on your ring if you've got a gnome on it. And you can collect rings that have no gnome on it and then collect the mushrooms that are left behind. But we'll talk about that in a second. So this next player here is going to take advantage of the fact that we already put down a loop for this one. And they are going to place here. And then take this token here and place and close that. Now, they have completed a 1, 2, 3, 4 tile thing. So they get to take the marker and place it in the 4 for the fairy ring of mushrooms. Now, because they also closed that ring, the mushrooms that correspond with that size, that plant, is going to get placed onto the ring. So you can come here and you can gather. You got a red mushroom and you've got a blue mushroom. Now those stay on the board until somebody claims them. So because they placed them, they're going to move onto that ring, and they are now going to claim those mushrooms and add them to their inventory. Now it goes on to the next player's turn, and this player is going to basically place their tokens. Let's replenish the board real quick. Now, they're going to take an interesting tactic. Instead of placing one on the board, they're going to leave those rings open for now. There's a very specific reason why. Because while there are 2 paths there, one will be open, the likelihood is better actually for them to take a plant now as a free action for one of the gnome moves. So they're going to grab this plant here and start collecting victory points. Once you get all 8, it'll basically finish that condition. And the game ends when somebody collects at least 1 of all 8 of the pieces have moved all of their tokens from the collecting rings, or you run out of tiles in the bag. Once that happens, you collect points and you add them all up. First thing, you collect how many plants they have. The marker that the plant is filled to is how many victory points. So if you've got 3 plants, you get 6 points. If you've got all 8 plants, you get 25 points. Same thing with the markers to your next place. Whatever marker you've spent up to on the board, that is your victory point location next. So if you've already placed 4 or 5 of the tokens, it'll be like 14 victory points. You add those together. So 25 plus 14, that's going to make you 39. Then past that point, you then collect all your treasure points. Now treasure, which we talked about slightly, these are things that you're going to gain specifically for selling mushrooms in the market if you go to the market instead. Once you sell a mushroom at a certain level, like say for instance you sell 6 of one type of mushroom, you'll get the 15 victory points. Then no one else get that victory point again from that sale. The other markets options are still available though, but you gain treasure, and that is your third and final form of victory point, which you calculate all together, add them all. The person with the highest score of those 3 categories wins the game. Now, this is a really amazingly beautiful game with really awesome artwork here to give it that feel and that unique style. I will specifically say there is a option that you can get to upgrade your tokens for your treasures and your mushrooms, and that is with the deluxe wooden components, which includes mushroom tokens, treasure tokens, flower tokens, and first player red cap, all with wood tokens instead of these cardboard ones. But that is an additional like $25 currently at the time. It's definitely worth picking up and thinking about doing, but really great options here available at the time. Well, hopefully you guys like this game. I think it's super cool. I do love how much work they went into making sure that this all fits inside the container really nicely. I think it's an amazing job creating a unique and fun game. It reminds me of elements of Carcassonne, as well as pawn placement and flower growth. Very unique, very fun, really solid game. It plays with 4 players max, and really it's all about how fast you kind of place these things down the board that you get your points going. But I can really see this being just such a fun 4-player game. So there was one more thing I want to talk about before we go, and it's just the boards are really well made. So the tokens have a magnet in them, which actually allows them to stick onto the board where you need to place them. And then there are magnets in the other places. And I mean, that's just super cool how that's designed. It's really awesome. It really gives you like a little extra work was placed in to make this a really cool game. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this at Gen Con. If you didn't, hopefully you liked the video here, and hopefully pick up for yourself. We'll see you guys next time.